From Citizen TV, this is the Monday Report with Trevor Ombija.
That's absolutely right. Good evening. It's good to have you with us here in studio. My name is Trevor Ombija, like you just heard. Later on, we'll have a conversation on the town hall. We know now that 18 people have lost their lives due to the ongoing floods. In fact, most of them are through drowning. In Nairobi, 2 of them lost their lives. And that's the conversation we'll be having later on today. David Koros is the Assistant Director Forecasting Services at the Kenya Meteorological Department. And also Patrick Anal is the Chief Officer, Urban Development Planning, Nairobi County. They're in charge of the permits and the buildings, and we know quite a number of them are on riparian land. We'll find out who's sleeping on the job. Mumo Musuva is a commissioner with the Nairobi Rivers Commission. They're the ones in charge of demarcating the buildings that are on riparian land. We'll find out how many of them are there. Bramwell Simiyu, the Chief Officer, Disaster Management and Coordination, Nairobi City County. They're in charge of dealing with disaster. We're asking who is sleeping on the job, having been given all the warning signs. We know that more than 6,000 people have been affected by floods in Nairobi alone, and more than 59 areas in Tana River are facing possible flooding as well. The Meteorological Department gave all those warnings earlier on, but was there action in time? That's the conversation we're having. We'd like to hear from you. At Trevor Ombija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Citizen Monday Report. But I'm not alone, as always. Emmanuel Dungu is here, the latest in the sporting world. Good evening, it's good to see you. What's going on?
Good evening, yes, pleasure being with you here again. Hope everyone at home is having a good day as well. We have a lot of rally action to get into today. We'll have information on the Equatorial Rally and the Pearl of Africa Rally as well. But we also have new sports facilities in Nairobi. That's a feature that will be coming for you in the sports bulletin at the end. So make sure you stay tuned until that time.
All right, looking forward to that. But for now, our top stories tonight.
The only punishment you can do is to remove that money and then reallocate that money for other pressing needs that we have as a country, like roads and infrastructure, issue of SHA.
To those issuing these threats, we say this clearly and without hesitation. We dare you.
Freedom of speech. Jubilee Party rallies behind retired President Uhuru Kenyatta, pushing back against UDA attacks as Senator Clergy tables a motion to strip him off retirement parks. A day of tear gas and running battles. 2 people killed during clashes between police and border operators in Luanda, Vihiga County.
We must put an end to internal conflict, as they do not serve our interest, but instead create division.
Call to order. ODM top brass urges an end to infighting on day 2 of a 3-day retreat in Mombasa. Royal Media Services outlet Citizen TV and Radio Citizen emerge as Kenya's most watched and most listened to broadcast media. Thank you so much for tuning in. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Liz Otieno. Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei has tonight ignited a political storm after tabling a motion to strip retired President Uhuru Kenyatta of his state benefits and allowances, accusing him of remaining active in politics. But the Jubilee Party has hit back, daring the government to follow through with the threat, insisting their party leader has a constitutional right to speak out. Emmanuel To has more.
The motion tabled at the Senate on Monday afternoon comes just 2 days after retired President Uhuru Kenyatta rocked the political landscape with a phone address to Jubilee delegates in Narok County, accusing President William Ruto of gagging him, a claim he says did not happen under previous regimes. Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei argues the former president cannot have his cake and eat it, saying Uhuru cannot continue drawing state benefits while remaining an active political player and leading the Jubilee Party more than 3 years after leaving office.
The law says in Section 4 that when you leave office, you are allowed a window of 6 months. That should have given an opportunity to hand over Jubilee and to stop making active political engagement.
The UDA senator says the former head of state should be stripped of the benefits accorded to his office, announcing that his motion is set to be tabled on the floor of the House on Tuesday afternoon.
The only punishment you can do is to remove that money and then reallocate that money for other pressing needs that we have as a country, like roads and infrastructure, issue of SHA.
This comes as the Jubilee Party moved to defend its party leader Uhuru Kenyatta following a series of attacks, insisting he has the right to speak and express himself freely.
Retirement benefits for former presidents are not political favors to be granted or withdrawn at will. They are legal entitlements grounded in law, designed to preserve the dignity of the office.
The retired president makes one phone call and the government screams the whole weekend.
The leaders have drawn a firm line in the sand, insisting that Kenyatta will not be intimidated or shaken by the mounting political pressure.
To those issuing these threats, we say this clearly and without hesitation. We dare you.
Our party leader is going nowhere, and our party leader will continue to express himself.
In Trans Nzoia County, some members of the Linda Mwananchi faction also came to the defense of the retired president.
Uhuru is a retired president. Now kuna freedom of speech. Kama unatafuta mwanzilishi na ule ambaye analinda hiyo Linda Mwananchi na ule ambaye anawapea pesa, ukuje kwa Caleb Amisi ndo huyu.
Some of the benefits entitled to the office of a former president includes monthly pension equal to 80% of the monthly salary currently paid to the president, entertainment allowance equal to 15% of the monthly salary currently paid to the serving president, housing allowance equal to 23% of his former salary, suitable office space, 2 new cars of his choice, replaceable every 3 years, security and personal assistance, among others. However, Article 151(3) of the Constitution of Kenya states that the retirement benefits payable to a former president and a former deputy president shall not be varied to their disadvantage during their lifetime. Emmanuel Toll, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Still on politics, the Orange Democratic Movement top brass have resolved to steady the party by ending internal conflicts and unifying the party membership. The leaders affirmed the party had only one command center under Dr. Obwaka Oginga and told a splinter group led by Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna to stop causing confusion. Stephen Leto has more.
ODM! Wacha tuone kwa kofia ODM!
The Orange Party continued with its 3-day retreat in Mombasa to steady the ODM ship amid political turbulence in the run-up to the 2027 general election. President William Ruto's cabinet ally to the ODM wing of the broad-based government joined the party's top leadership in a show of unity with the Oburu-led party.
We have come to demonstrate unity in ODM, and that ODM is one, and which has one leadership under Dr. Obwaka Odinga as the party leader of ODM.
Sisi hapa ni wafuasi kamili, bila tashwishi yoyote, bila kusuasua, bila wasiwasi, bila uoga, bila kuficha mchana, watu wa ODM.
Me and my colleagues, we are here to show the world that we are strong in the party. And we support the party, and we are ODM. We shall remain in ODM.
The party leaders told of the Linda Mwananchi faction led by Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna and Embakasi East MP Babu Owino, with Siaya Governor James Orengo declaring himself as the acting party leader. ODM party leader Dr. Obwaka Oginga was absent in the meeting and represented by Deputy Party Leader and Kisii Governor Simba Arati told the Linda Mwananchi faction that there is only one center of command in the party.
I would like to remind us all that we can only have one command center. We cannot have multiple voices issuing conflicting party position.
Mbadi, Oparanya and Joho called the ODM party to order, calling on all party members to respect the party officials.
ODM has leadership. So anything we do, we have to do through that leadership that is here. That is very important because we recognize that the party leader, the founder is no more, and we have a party leader in the name of Dr. Oburu.
We must give them support, work together with them, and work under them, because when it comes to party machinery, they are above us.
Sisi tumebaki na tutabaki kuwa watu wa ODM. Kama ni mawaziri ama si mawaziri, sisi ni watu wa ODM.
Retreat that ends tomorrow will also look into strategies to revamp the orange bases ahead of the 2027 general election, even as the party pledged to ensure fair and equal opportunities for those seeking party positions at the party primaries.
After this, we will continue conversations until tomorrow on the unity and strength of our party and our strategy moving into 2027 and beyond.
We're not a party to send anybody away, but a party of unity. And that's why you're seeing all teams here today.
Stephen Leto, Citizen TV.
From that, the Linda Mwananchi faction has castigated President William Ruto's state visit to Tanzania, where he's expected to address the Tanzanian parliament tomorrow. In a statement, the team claimed President Ruto's address will give legitimacy to President Samia Suluhu's administration, which they maintain is illegitimate. As Emmanuel Toh now reports, President Ruto kicked off his two-day state visit to Tanzania by signing several memoranda of understanding with the Tanzanian government.
Their statement issued ahead of President William Ruto's two-day state visit to Tanzania raised concerns over the recent political violence that ensued after the controversial October 2025 general election in Tanzania, which led to the deaths of over 500 people. The Linda Mwananchi faction terming the election of President Samia Suluhu a sham, saying, quote, "We can confidently state that the threshold of democracy and fairness was not met, especially given that opposition representatives had been placed behind bars." The team adding that President Ruto's address to the Tanzanian parliament will place Kenya's stamp of legitimacy on a fraudulent regime and electoral process. The statement further stating that in such a context, a high-profile presidential address risks being interpreted as an endorsement of contested processes and a troubling departure from Kenya's long-standing commitment to democratic values. Linda Mwananchi also revisited what he termed as a humiliation of the Kenyan MPs by the Tanzanian parliament when Kenyan activists were brutalized and mocked repeatedly when they joined protesters in Tanzania before and after the disputed election. The Linda Mwananchi leadership condemning the planned address. This comes as President William Ruto called for stability and peace in the region, congratulating President Suluhu for setting up a commission of inquiry into the October election violence.
The relationship between Tanzania and Kenya is mutually beneficial. And that means we should work on creating more synergy, creating more bridges, not barriers, creating more stepping stones, not roadblocks.
Emmanuel Toh, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Let's talk about education matters now. And concerns are mounting over the rising number of learners under the competency-based education system dropping out before completion. Data from the Kenya National Examination Council indicates that more than 151,000 learners from the first CBE cohort did not complete junior school. The figures are now raising serious questions about retention gaps in the rollout of the new curriculum. Brenda Wanga has the details.
While attention has been on learners transitioning to grade 10 after completing junior school, fresh data from the country's main examiner, the Kenya National Examination Council, reveals an even deeper concern. Not all learners registered under the first cohort of the competency-based education system made it to the junior school finish line. In 2019, about 1.282 million learners were enrolled in grade 4 as a pioneer class of the new curriculum. But by the time they sat their grade 9 assessment, only 1.130 million boys and girls put pen to paper to secure placement in senior school. A staggering 151,000 learners fell through the cracks, highlighting the deepening concerns concerns over retention within the system. The dropout largely affected the male learners, with nearly 100,000 of them affected. 52,000 girls also failed to finish their junior school. The data was presented during the 3rd Annual Education Assessment Symposium convened by the Ministry, NEC and the Education Resource Centre. However, the Cabinet Secretary for Education cast doubt on the validity of the figures presented there by a NEC official.
That came out was not actually the correct information, because the transition rate from grade 6 to grade 7 is 100%. The transition rate from grade 9 to grade 10 is at almost 99.8%. Yeah, we've already transitioned over 1.1 million. So some information is not the correct information. And
dropped out, but stakeholders have in the past complained about the high cost of implementing the curriculum, especially with the provision of supplies on the parents and guardian side. The ministry says it will improve the problem-solving capacity at the ministry as it irons out the kinks in the curriculum.
And we are very keen on what is happening with competence-based education, because competence-based education, from where I sit, having traveled far and wide, is the best education system ever our country has ever had.
The examiner also points to a declining performance for the learners. While the learners start strong in the foundational stage of grade 3, their performance declines through upper primary and stagnates in junior school, calling the attention of the implementers to rectifying it. Away from the dropout on the performance issues, the ministry issued a stern warning to school heads who are charging exorbitant fees and levies outside the ministry's directive. The ministry says tuition in secondary school remains free, while the other levies and boarding fees are set by the government. These challenges notwithstanding, the ministry insists that the curriculum implementation is on track. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.
Now, business was brought to a halt in Luanda in Vihiga County following chaos that rocked the town to protest alleged killing of 2 people by the police. Angry youth engaged police in violent confrontations, blocking the Busia-Kisumu highway, lighting fires in protest of the alleged killings. The confrontation left a trail of destruction as residents demanded for justice. Citizen TV's Crispin Otieno has more.
What began as a peaceful protest to seek the release a number of motorbikes impounded by police on Sunday quickly morphed into full-blown street battles. Angry youth and boda-boda operators squaring it out with the police, turning Luanda town into a volatile battlefield. Gunshots cracking through the air. Sirens wailing uncontrollably, stones flying from all directions. Tension mounting in the entire town as crowds surged, scattered, then regrouped to engage the police. In a chaotic confrontation, 2 lives were lost, allegedly shot dead by police as the situation degenerated into full-blown battle.
Sasa hii tumeconfirm watu wawili ambao wamekufa na ni wahudumu wa bodaboda, na kuna wengine ambao wameumizwa katika hospitali wanaendelea kupata matibabu.
And as word spread, anger boiled over. Residents poured into the streets, barricading the Luanda-Kisumu road, lighting bonfires, bringing transport and business to a halt.
Serikali ambayo imekuja ama kama ni OSPD ama OCS ama kwena mwenye amekuja mgeni, ni vyema akana bodaboda wa Luanda chini, tujue ni jinsi gani ama ni njia gani tunaweza fuata ili tupunguze insecurity ambao inatendeka hapa Luanda. Sababu bodaboda hao ndio wanajua mambo mingi. Sisi tunajua tunabeba wezi, tunabeba kila mtu, ambapo tunaweza identify who is this and this, who is this.
So kuanzia jana na leo tunafanya ile kitu imefanyika saa hii ni kujiona mbuzi na kondoo. Gani iko na uzito. So sisi ni kondoo, askari ni mbuzi. OCS asipoenda transfer, hatuna amani.
The unrest shifting from confrontation to chaos. Shops were broken into, goods looted, as fear and fury gripped the town in equal measure. The number of those injured still unknown, as bodies of the 2 victims lie at Vihiga County Referral Hospital mortuary. Crispino, TNO Citizen TV.
Now, detectives probing the sudden death of former Nairobi Hospital director Dr. Job Obwaka now say that they're investigating a possible case of suspected poisoning which may have occurred at Beatrice Wangari's residence. The detectives who brought Wangari before the Kibera law courts seeking custodial orders to detain her for 14 days told the court that they require more time to complete post-mortem and toxicological analysis. The court has ordered that Wangari be detained for 10 days to allow police to conclude the investigation. Gatete Njoroge has more.
After spending a long weekend in police custody, Beatrice Wangari was finally arraigned in court as questions deepened over the sudden death of Dr. John Obwaka. She appeared before Kibera Deputy Registrar Barbara Akinyi, her face partially concealed beneath a Marvin hat and face mask, as she kept a low profile amid a packed courtroom filled with journalists and curious onlookers. In their application, the prosecution telling the court that Wangari was the last known person to have been with the late Dr. Job Obwaka, saying detectives need more time to complete investigations into the circumstances surrounding the gynecologist's death.
The investigators are seeking to remand her to be able to conclude the investigations, more specifically to allow for a post-mortem to be done. There are certain samples that are being forwarded to the government analyst.
In her affidavit, investigating officer Roda Nzioka stated that detectives are pursuing a possible case of suspected poisoning, which they believe may have occurred at Wangari's residence in Milimani Estate, Kitengela. The line of inquiry, however, was strongly challenged by her legal team, who argued that officers had already conducted a search of her residence and failed to uncover any evidence or traces that could point to poisoning, casting doubt on the basis of the renewed allegations.
This affidavit shows no basis for that averment. And if there were any basis at all, then the investigation pertaining it has already been conducted.
Through her lawyers, Wangari informed the court that she had been in a romantic relationship with the late Dr. Obwaka, adding that she bore him no ill will and had no intention whatsoever of causing him harm.
The respondent already disclosed it in the statement that he wrote at the ECI that indeed they were intimate. They were very close friends. And paragraph 9 should not be interpreted in any way as a reason for further detention of the respondent.
The court allowed the application and ordered Wangari to be detained at Kilimani Police Station for 10 days. The case will be mentioned on May 14th. With the court granting investigators 10 days to continue detaining Beatrice Wangari, the focus of investigations now turn to the post-mortem exercise expected to be conducted on Tuesday. Gatete Njoroge, Citizen TV, Kibera Law Courts.
You know, from that, Royal Media Platform sustained its dominance in Kenya's media industry, with Citizen TV maintaining its top position as Kenya's most watched television station, commanding more than half of the overall audience share. According to the 2025 State of the Media Report survey, Citizen TV held a steady lead at 56%, with NTV Kenya, KTN, Inoro TV and TV47 completing the top 5 list. And as Laura Otieno now reports, social media is also gaining popularity, with newspaper readership taking a nosedive to 13% from 29% in a span of just 1 year.
The survey findings that were released during the World Press Freedom Day celebrations at Strathmore University showed the sustained popularity of Citizen TV, topping the list at 56% of the audience share. Coming at a distant second was NTV at 8%, KTN Home and Inoro TV holding steady at 7%, with Ramogi TV clinching the 7th position at 3%, cementing the collective command of Royal Media Services. However, media consumption trends showed that social media is now the most preferred medium at 27%, followed by TV at 25% and radio coming in at 19% for content consumption.
I think even the link for today's event has been shared to people on WhatsApp. I've seen even our colleagues from Rwanda asking now to move to WhatsApp and all that. Then, of course, after that, now they will click and go to YouTube and whatever.
Radio Citizen.
On the airwaves, Radio Citizen held its lead at 17% of the listenership, followed by Radio Jambo at 14%, with Radio Maisha coming in third at 12%. Newspaper readership dropped to 13%. However, the survey indicated increased public confidence in mainstream media in delivering accurate and balanced reports.
The speed, the algorithms, the noise, but it has not killed it. Investigative reporting still breaks tyrants. Local news still binds communities. And the truth, however delayed by clickbait, still finds its light.
The Nation Media Group-owned Nation newspaper remains the most read, with audiences increasingly accessing the content online rather than through printed copies. Laura Otieno, Citizen TV.
All right, on that positive note, on behalf of the entire All Media Services family, we say thank you for making us number one. We'll continue to do our best to make sure we all grow together. All right, see you in just a bit. We're taking a quick break here. Don't go too far. A lot more still coming your way. Police launch investigations into the brazen killing of a PCA priest after suspected robbers raided his home in Dundori, Nakuru County.
At Standard Chartered, family businesses, business owners, and corporate executives have entrusted us with over $2.3 billion.
Your wealth is guided by certified relationship managers who are supported by insurance and investment specialists.
Now is your time for wealth. Join Standard Chartered today.
Our bodies get serums and washes, but underarms only get deodorant? That's why our new breakthrough formula has pure hyaluron and vitamin C to deeply care for your underarms for soft and even skin tone in 2 weeks. With 72-hour sweat and odor protection, try the new Nivea Derma Control range because your underarms deserve more. Nivea is for skin.
All right, listen up. Colgate is on a mission.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth.
Sometimes dirt can give us something back. That's why I use new Omo. With naturally derived stain removers, it penetrates deep to reach the toughest stains for unbeatable stain removal.
Mother's Day is just around the corner. It's the perfect time to show our mothers how much we appreciate and love them. At House of Leather and Gifts, we have thousands of unbelievable gifts at incredible prices, such as leather products, message mugs, message frames, vases and flowers, wall clocks, gift hampers, kitchen products, and so much more. You can also order online at www.houseofleatherkenya.co.ke and we will deliver to your doorstep. House of Leather and Gifts, Kenya's #1 gift store. Over 50,000 different items at the guaranteed best prices in Kenya.
New Pepsodent Herbal, introducing a unique combination of natural ingredients with herbal extracts, salt and mint in an antibacterial formula for fresh breath, strong teeth and healthy gums that protects you and your family. Pepsodent Herbal, every smile matters.
I don't deserve for you to be here.
No, sweetie, you don't ever say that. We're family.
I said no touching!
She's my daughter.
Nicholas, I'm not discussing Mar with you.
Doesn't it matter to you that she might be innocent?
But there's proof. Why do you keep believing she's innocent?
Because I think there's something off about it.
Get that woman to agree to divorce your father.
I already told you, I'm not gonna pressure her to sign.
Just pressuring her isn't gonna get you anywhere, okay? You do what you gotta do to get her to sign.
Cause we wasted so much time. What you know what you think about it? What you know what you think about it? What you think about it?
All right, thank you for staying with Citizen TV and the Monday Report. Now, President William Ruto has urged judges to serve with integrity, fairness and fidelity to the law in the execution of their duties. The president spoke at State House in Nairobi during the swearing-in ceremony, where he also reiterated his commitment to ensure Kenyans get access to justice. Melita Oletenges was there.
A total of 49 judges were sworn in at State House, Nairobi, in a ceremony attended by President William Ruto, Chief Justice Martha Koome, and other leaders in government. 24 judges will serve in the High Court, 13 in the Environment and Land Court, and 12 in the Commerce Court. President Ruto, who officiated the event, called on the judges to uphold integrity and strictly follow the law in the execution of their duties.
I'm talking from experience. Do the right thing. Not the convenient, not the popular, not the easy, the right thing. Just do it. I have done it and I have no regrets whatsoever.
The president also emphasized the need to prioritize justice for ordinary Kenyans without bias or corruption, terming it the cornerstone of the judiciary.
The true measure of our justice system is whether the ordinary citizen experiences fairness, timeliness, and dignity.
President Ruto highlighted his administration achievements, including hiring of 92 judges over the past 2 years as part of his commitment to strengthening the judiciary.
I've had the privilege to swear in 92 judges now in 3 years. And it's a commitment that I made to the people of Kenya to work with the judiciary in a manner that will help build the capacity of the judiciary so that we can, all of us, as we serve the people of Kenya, do the best for our nation.
He also underscored the role of technology in ensuring timely delivery of court decisions and reducing delays in justice for Kenyans.
I, Charity Chabi Orloch.
Melita Oletenges, Citizen TV.
Now, Kenya joined the rest of the world in marking World Press Freedom Day, a day dedicated to celebrating the fundamental principles of press freedom and honoring journalists who risk and sometimes lose their lives in pursuit of the truth. Celebrations were held in different parts of the country, with journalists staging peaceful processions to remind governments of their obligation to uphold freedom of expression and ensure the safety of journalists. Willie Lusige has that report.
This year's commemoration comes at a time of growing concern over media freedom, both globally and locally. Journalists, media stakeholders and civil society groups have in recent past raised alarm over increased cases of harassment, arrest and intimidation of reporters. Concern raised by media practitioners who staged peaceful demonstration in Kisii, Nyamira, Mombasa, Kisumu and most towns across the country. While marking the national celebrations in Nairobi, stakeholders warned of heightened risk ahead of the 2027 general elections, where journalists often face increased threats while covering political events and exposing wrongdoing. They, however, urged media practitioners to practice responsible journalism.
You, like us, are an important voice in shaping a future that is laden with peace, especially now as we approach a general election where public discourse is increasingly tense, goonism is becoming the order of the day.
Supreme Court judge warning that how news is framed through headlines and panel discussions can deepen division instead of fostering national unity.
Every headline every breaking news alert, every panel discussion contributes to shaping the public perception. And therefore you have the ability to de-escalate tension simply by how you frame an issue.
Journalists were also urged to carefully weigh the impact of the information they broadcast and ensure young journalists expected to cover their first election are properly trained.
This young generation is entering a field where, according to Amwick, more than 60% of their colleagues do not feel safe. We cannot have a peaceful future if those tasked with reporting it live or live in fear.
In Mombasa County, journalists marked the day through peaceful demonstrations while calling the government to take action against those violating press freedom.
Wanasiasa pia ni wale ambao wanatumia wale watu tunaita siku hizi maguni. Wanasiasa watupe tu nafasi na serikali pia iweze kutulinda.
The role of the police is not to obstruct the media, but to support and protect their lawful work.
In Kisumu City, journalists donated blood at Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital and emphasized the need for increased focus on health issues affecting many Kenyans.
We want to now save lives. That's why, apart from just celebrating our day today, we decided that we also save lives by donating blood, each one of us.
Journalists in Kisii demanding firm action against politicians accused of using goons to attack journalists, as well as faster prosecution of cases involving violence against journalists. Willie Lusige, Citizen TV.
Now, police in Nakuru County have launched investigations into the murder of a pastor from PCEA Tabuga Church in Lanet in Bahati constituency, that's in Nakuru County. The pastor was killed last night when armed robbers broke into his residence within the church compound in Tabuga Parish. Mary Mwoki with the details.
Murder most foul. This place of worship desecrated in the most heinous way. The PCEA Tabuga Church in Dundori Bahati constituency was transformed from a sanctuary of peace to a murder scene in the early hours of Monday morning when thieves broke into the church compound, violently subdued the night guard and fatally attacked the priest, leaving his lifeless body lying in a pool of blood.
Huyo mchungaji ni baba wa watoto wengi, ni watu wengi wanamtegemea, na sasa kama tumefika kuwaua hadi wachungaji, mumekuja sana.
Huzuni kwa watu ya Bahati, ni huzuni kwa wachungaji, ni huzuni kwa nchi yetu ya Kenya. Kama mchungaji anauawa, na ningetaka watu waelewe hii, ameuawa Tabuga kwa kanisa ndani, nyumba ambaye anakaa ndani ya kanisa ndani. Then are we safe?
Police say the attackers tortured the night guard and coerced him to call the priest, who was then ambushed and killed. A confidant of the priest says the fallen clergy had expressed fear over his life, stemming from alleged leadership wrangles in the church.
The injury to the deceased, it is in the back of the neck, hapa kwa kichwa. Ni kama alikatwa na kitu kama shoka from the behind. And alikuwa amefungwa kwa mkono. Pia watchman alikuwa amefungwa pia.
And as ministers, we want to say that we feel worried and threatened, because now we can say that our security is not assured. Yes, the investigations will be done so that we establish exactly who did this and the motive, whether it was an inside job or whatever.
The watchman sustained serious injuries and is admitted at Nakuru Referral Hospital for treatment. This attack comes just months after a similar attack on Phyllis Modhoni Bahati PCEA Bibilioni in January that left the watchman dead as thieves made away with the transformer. This latest incident raising concerns over the seemingly increasing attacks on places of worship. Mary Mwoki, Citizen TV.
All right, on that sad note, we're taking a quick break here on the Monday Report. When we come back, I'll take you through some business news. Emmanuel Ndungu comes in with the sporting action, and then we get into this conversation. We're calling it the fury of floods because 18 people have died in the country so far, according to the Ministry of Interior, 2 of them in Nairobi. More than 6,000 people affected by floods here in Nairobi. 59 areas in Tana River are facing possible floods going forward. This was all predicted by the Meteorological Department, and that's why we have one of them there, David Koros, is the Assistant Director Forecasting Services, Kenya Meteorological Department, to find out from them what do we expect going forward. Patrick Anal is the Chief Officer, Urban Development and Planning, Nairobi County. They've been accused of giving permits to buildings that are then brought down, apparently because they're on riparian land. We'll find out who's issuing those permits and what next from here. Mumo Musuva, Commissioner, Nairobi Rivers Commission, is one of the people in charge of marking the houses that will be demolished due to being on riparian land. We'll find out how many there are and in which places here in Nairobi. Bramwell Simiyu is the Chief Officer, Disaster Management and Coordination from Nairobi City County. We'll find out from them how prepared are they when it comes to disasters like floods. But we'd like to hear from you mostly. At Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya, use the hashtag Citizen Monday Report. That and much more coming up in just a bit.
Kupata wimbo huu kama sikiza tone yako, bonyeza *811 *445 #. Kumbuka, sikiza na Citizen, nyumbani kwa wasanii wote.
Aloe body lotion infused with nature's finest ingredients, goat milk. See the radiant glow and embrace the natural confidence that flows from within. From tropical brands.
Skia, niju, si. Flavor zote tamu tena fruity. Yummy, na flow kama maji, juu ni tamu kama sali. Niju, si. Are you bored? Kuna vitu zinakuudhi, usijali my bro, hebu kama nataka juicy juni.
Not all serums are as fast at reducing dark marks. Choose new Garnier Even and Bright Vitamin C Plus Booster Serum, combining vitamin C with activated niacinamide and salicylic acid to create vitamin C Plus. 100 times stronger than classical vitamin C. Clinically proven minus 66% dark marks. Even brighter skin from day 6. New Even and Bright Vitamin C Plus Booster Serum by Garnier Naturally.
The county government of Kiambu, under His Excellency Governor Kimani Wamatangi, notifies all developers with unapproved buildings to regularize their plans as required by law. Submit applications to your sub-county physical planner by 31st May. Approval timelines are 7 days for single dwellings, 3 weeks for commercial buildings. Do not pay individuals. Use official county channels only.
Feel at home.
Okoro, kwani wewe ni DJ?
Mbona?
Kuna venye umespin hizo chapo. Mzae.
Kinoma.
Ugali na slap.
Dola ni vibe. Kitu shwari. Bidhaa bora kutoka Dola Group.
Elimu Mashinani, a discussion on the competence-based education CBE system.
Our petroleum jelly repairs dry skin like no other. Easy to spread and non-sticky like no other. Great quality product from Pwani Oil.
All right, time now for some business news. And I&M Bank Limited has launched a public medium-term note program worth 20 billion shillings to support its long-term growth plans and strengthen its capital position. The proceeds for the medium-term note, which will be listed at the Nairobi Securities Exchange, will be used for onward lending, providing long-term funding and expansion, while at the same time boosting the bank's financial adequacy ratio. Here's Jimmy Mbogo with more.
The entry of I&M Bank into the debt market will see the lender spend at least 48.2 million shillings to issue the medium-term note, which is set to raise 20 billion shillings in 2 tranches. The 5.5-year note will see the lender raise at least 10 billion shillings in the first tranche, but has made provisions for 30% green shoe option that allows the lender to take up more than the targeted amount based on the market appetite.
The intent of this capital raising is to supplement our capital base. This is Tier 2 capital, so what is called subordinated debt capital. The intent is to make sure that we can get long-term funding, right? So this is 5.5 years, and will support some of the longer-term borrowing, particularly on the fixed-rate side.
The MTN, which is priced at a fixed rate of 12.2%, will see investors part with 500,000 shillings, which is the minimum subscription amount. However, upon commencement of trading at the secondary market, retail investors will be able to invest with a minimum of 50,000 shillings, which will be the denomination of the notes, allowing for wider participation in the secondary market.
Retailers can actually get in through, say, collective investment vehicles, so unit trusts, for example, where people would be able to buy a bond or units in a unit trust, which has invested in the securities, right? The minimum denomination of 50,000 just simply means that when somebody is trading the paper, right, the minimum size that they can actually trade is 50,000 shillings. That is in the secondary market. But at issuance over this period, 500,000 shillings the minimum subscription amount.
I&M is keen to grow its customer numbers in Kenya to at least 1 million, while at the same time growing its return on equity to 23%. The note is set to be listed at the NSE by the 21st of this month. Jimmy Mbogo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Now, Kenya is increasingly being positioned as the key hub for textile and apparel investment as global brands look for new sourcing destinations. This emerged at the Africa Sourcing and Fashion Week Nairobi, currently underway in the capital. Dennis Otieno has more.
Industry players say Kenya is benefiting from shifts in global supply chains, with investors drawn by trade access and supportive industrial policies. Projections now show the country could attract up to 97 billion shillings in new textile mill investments by 2030 as it seeks to reduce imports and boost local production.
We have increased the number of EPZs that we are having around, and also trying to reduce by bringing into the tax bracket those people who are importing mitumbas into the countries. This is in one way will reduce the number of mitumbas that can come in, and by doing so will boost the production of textile in the country.
At the same time, apparel exports are expected to grow, with potential earnings of up to 75 billion shillings in the near term. Despite this, Kenya still imports textiles worth over 100 billion shillings annually, highlighting gaps in local manufacturing. Officials say bridging this gap could unlock jobs and position the country as a regional production hub.
Asians are now setting up factories in Africa so that they can export from Africa to US. I believe then in about 10 years from now, there will be no way just leaving out Africa when it comes to manufacturing up as a manufacturing continent.
If current trends hold, Kenya's textile and apparel exports could more than quadruple by 2035, strengthening its place in global fashion supply chains. Dennis Otieno, Citizen TV.
Africa's fast-growing digital gaming economy is in sharp focus as the Gaming Africa Summit 2026 officially kicked off today, bringing together regulators, fintech players and investors to chart the future of the continent's iGaming sector. The two-day forum opens against the backdrop of rapid industry expansion driven by mobile technology and shifting consumer trends, with discussions centering on regulation, artificial intelligence and responsible gaming as the Gambling Regulatory Authority seeks to balance growth with oversight. The gambling sector paid over 31 billion shillings in taxes in the last financial year alone.
And the aim is to push Nairobi and Kenya and Africa at large to the larger gaming community in the world, so that they can come to the world, to the gaming industry in Africa, invest, and that is why you are seeing so many companies from Europe, Asia, America, and other continents represented here today.
Because of the technology that we're going to be bringing into place, we will have the capability of identifying gambling patterns and problematic gambling habits that can be nipped in the bud long before it becomes a challenge. Many solutions have been brought to the fore. For instance, we are finding a mechanism to exclude the use of immovable assets as part of the gambling wagers, so that people do not stake family money or family property in pursuit of a high. And the thing we must remind every Kenyan, young and old, gambling is purely entertainment.
And that wraps up business news, and like I mentioned, Emmanuel Ndungu is here. He's coming up with the sporting action. He claims he's a good runner, but we'll see about that.
We'll see. It's a race, don't we?
Yeah, we still have a race that is pending.
I will
beat you hands down.
Oh, please.
You can't run faster than me, but that's a story for another day. So what's going on?
Well, there's a lot going on. Like I said at the top, we have a lot of rally to get into. Equatorial rally has ended. And we also have the Pearl of Africa rally coming up, but a feature also on some sports facilities in Kibera here in Nairobi to look forward to just after the break.
A common sign of sensitivity is a short, sharp pain to hot and cold. A lot of my patients have changed a lot of habits. They are no longer eating cold foods, popsicles, things that they love to eat. If you do nothing about it, it will get worse. Sensodyne works by creating a protective layer over the sensitive areas of the teeth. You can go back to eating ice cream and drinking beverages that have ice in it. I recommend Sensodyne for anybody who's suffering from sensitivity.
When I have back pain, I reach for 2 tablets of Panadol Extra. With unique Optizop technology, Panadol Extra provides 3 times more pain-relieving power than standard paracetamol for fast relief from strong pain like headache, toothache, and muscle pain, and can get to work in 10 minutes so that I am ready to be there for those who need me. Stronger pain relief at only 20 shillings per pair.
No matter how chaotic your day gets, the new Nice and Lovely Ultra Fresh Deo with 0 alcohol keeps you fresh all day with 48 hours sweat and odor protection. Make moves bila jasho. Try the new Nice and Lovely deodorant today. 9 out of 10 women said they would switch.
Skia, ni juicy. Flavor zote tamu tena fruity. Yummy na flow kama maji, juu ni tamu kama sali. Ni juicy. Are you bored? Kuna vitu zinakuudhi, usijali my bro, ibu kama taka juicy juni.
Kenya, are you ready?
Apostle Peter Manyuru of Jesus Teaching Ministry Nairobi invites you this Friday for an overnight kesha.
I prophesy. You will go far in Jesus' name.
Amen. We are located along Manyanja Road next to Harambee Sacco in Donholm, Nairobi. Come and receive your blessings and miracles.
Across Africa, donkeys are an essential part of everyday life, supporting livelihoods, helping families pay school fees, and contributing to agricultural value chains such as milk and rice production. This Thursday, 7th May, join us on Daybreak as we mark World Donkey Day and discuss the growing threat of extinction facing donkeys in Africa due to persistent theft and illegal bush slaughter. Preserving the African donkey is our collective responsibility.
If there's a good time for you to take the place you should have had in the first place, it's now.
I've given my life to Christ. I don't need a friend like you. People are like you are just set back. I don't need you.
All right then, welcome back to the program. My name's Emmanuel Ndungu. This is now the day's sports. Infrastructure has been one of the biggest undoings in Kenya, and the Nairobi City County is trying to beat the odds to give youth somewhere to showcase their untapped talents. Our sports reporter, Lukman Mahmood, toured Woodley Ground in Kibra, which is almost complete.
From being a muddy pitch, and now it has a new look. Woodley Grounds here in Kibra has been one of the fields which has produced some of the best players in the country. Laying of the playing turf is complete, with the fan stands now taking shape before the ground is open to the public.
Tushamaliza mambo ya groundwork, tumemaliza, tumeweka turf, imemalizika, na pia kule mwisho ukiangalia tunatengeneza changing rooms, na kutakuwa na away team na home team, kuna both sides changing room, alafu pale juu tunaweka terraces, watu watakuwa wanaweza kukaa pale juu. Groundwork, kila kitu iko tayari, na nataka tu kusema ya kwamba unajua kuanzia kitambo hii maeneo ya Kibra na hii maeneo yote ya huku unapata ya kwamba kuna teams mingi sana za kucheza mpira.
Nairobi County, through their sports department, is also working on Jokadenge Stadium, formerly known as City Stadium, and Kiumbuini Grounds in Westlands, which will give options to all sports lovers in the county.
City Stadium ambayo ni Jokadenge Stadium, tushamaliza mambo ya groundwork, tumeshatengeneza turf. The next phase ambayo tumetengeneza mambo ya budget tunangoja ni ku make sure tunaweka stands round iweze ku accommodate more than 25,000 fans ambao wataweza kuja hapo. Kiwanja kingine ambayo iko tayari, ambayo ilikuwa tuliingia kama bado iko 40%, ni kiwanja Dandora Stadium. Sasa hizi tumeishughulikia. Dandora Stadium imebadilisha ecosystem ya maeneo ya Dandora. Ukienda kule watu wanakuza talanta, watu wanafanya biashara.
Upon completion, the grounds will ease the pressure of hosting Premier League and other league matches at the already closed Kasarani and Nyayo stadiums. Once completed, Woodley Stadium will give platform to the youth of Kibra and Nairobi at large to nurture their talents. Lukman Mahmood, Citizen TV, Kibra, Nairobi County.
Thanks very much for that story, Lukman. But now moving on. Piers Dakin and navigator Lloyd Destro have successfully defended their Equatorial Rally title, sealing a commanding overall victory at the end of the final stage. The Rocker Rally crew delivered a dominant performance with a total time of 8 hours, 43 minutes and 34 seconds, finishing 36 minutes ahead of second place Carl Tundo. Third place went to Robert Calder and Gavin Lawrence in the Datsun 280Z, finished over 42 minutes behind the leaders and 6 minutes and 38 seconds off second place. From start to finish, the 2026 edition proved both punishing and unpredictable, but at the front, Dakin remained untouchable, converting early control into a decisive and well-managed victory. Dakin won 6 of the 9 stages to firmly stamp his authority on the rally. The event was organised by Equatorial Classic Rallying in partnership with the Taita Taveta County Government and host partners from various conservancies.